I had the assumption that as we're looking at this, I had the assumption that the underemployment numbers, right? Folks that felt like they were not being rewarded for the degrees that they made and paid for were getting hosed. And so in this, I'm just looking at like recent college grads and college graduates and looking longitudinally. They have numbers going back to like 1990. And yes, we take a massive dip in 2000 for that, with the like recent graduates hitting like 38% to down to say, 37% of folks that are underemployed. We get that's like probably the best it's ever been. At its worst, we end up in like, it looks like 2012, where 47% of the recent college grads are 47% of them are underemployed, meaning they're probably pissed about their situation. That number continually decreases from this like date out in 2012 down to like record lows 2023. And now we just ever so slightly see this peak picking up just a bit and tailing down to like 41%. So just remember, like, that's right there kind of in the middle between the worst it's ever been and the best it's ever been for the purposes of this. So in my mind, it's like, I think the bigger thing is when we look at any of the polls of how the popularity, I think this is more about the popularity problem of AI, how it's being presented and how it's showing up. Because I'll tell you what, while maybe 41% of these recent grads may be underemployed as they face the market, I'm going to say 99% of them use ChatGPT or AI assisted in how they were doing their. I'm battling with that. And I think this is more about a popularity contest, or it's the fact that maybe we don't have full visual on these data. I found another source, the Economic Innovation Group, and looking there, we get like, you're really trying to segment. And that's, I think, where we're going to find some truth that, again, it's not as bad as it used to be, but looking at 2026, young college versus young non-college, like the people taking the biggest hit right now are the younger non-college graduates in terms of workforce participation rates. Any way I sliced it, I just couldn't find numbers that showed that this section, this quadrant of folks is getting disproportionately hosed in the job market, more so than any time in the past. So I believe this is more about the popularity, the positioning, especially in academia right now, where it's very much contentious. It is framed as the enemy. Narratives of, you choose it, be it energy, water, plagiarism, of these factors, I think, are playing more than the actual like they took our jobs vibe.
Yeah, no, George, I think there's some truth to that. I think it's largely overstated how much of an economic impact it's already having. I will again qualify that I don't think underemployment's quite necessarily getting at understanding, the types of students are going to be frustrated, right? Which are, elite students graduating with degrees in computer science, engineering, etc., who themselves are probably most disproportionately impacted by this and may only represent a small blip in the underemployment data. That's I think that's kind of my thesis, right? And I think they are using AI, but I don't necessarily means that their economic concerns are